now, if you're following along at home, you have downloaded and activated the Backup Buddy plugin, so you're good to go. This video is going to demonstrate how we at BFC Support set up the configurations and how we would advise you do it. Now, there's two main things you want to remember when you do this, when you're setting this up. Number one is you want your backups to run on a schedule. And that's because you don't want to have to remember to actually go into the back end of the website and run a backup. I mean, who's going to remember to do that? Who has time to do that, etc. Luckily, your website can do it automatically. The second thing you want to remember is you want to store your backup files off-site at an off-site destination. Now, what does that mean? What that means is that by default, your website will want to store its backups in a folder in the website. Now, that's fine, you'll have a backup, but what if your site goes down? And you need the backups? Well, you can't access them because the site's down. Server gets erased, server crashes or something. Kind of ironic because that's the time you would need the backups anyway. So what you want to do is when you take those backups, you want to store them at an off-site destination, somewhere else from where the website is stored. So we're going to walk through it. Here's how to do it. I'm going to show you the back end of our website. This is a demo website we're going to use for this thing. You'll see that we've just activated Backup Buddy, but we have not set it up yet. Now, when you activate Backup Buddy, you'll see on the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see that there's a Backup Buddy item in your admin menu. Click on it, and you'll get to the basic Backup Buddy screen. Now, if you wanted to just take a backup right now, you could click on Complete Backup and take a whole backup of your site. If you wanted just to take a database backup, which means posts, pages, configurations, but does not include, any of the files that are part of your website, so the entire WordPress install or all the plugins or all the media files, etc., you could click on this. Now, we don't want to do this right now. What we want to do is we want to go up and set up the configurations to do this automatically. So here's how you do it. The first thing you should do is go to Quick Setup Wizard. This is a really simple screen that'll take a couple of pieces of information from you and set everything up. So first thing is you want to enter your email address to get backup and error notifications. This will send you an email if a backup fails or if something goes wrong. Number two, you want to create a password for restoring. So if you do have to restore your backups, you do have to enter a password into the system. They are zipped up in a password-protected zip file, and that's so that someone can't hack into your website, grab your backup, and set up your own site without your knowledge. So we're going to set a password here. The next thing we're going to do is where do you want to send your backups? Now, this is what we were talking about before. Do we want to just store them at the same place where the website is? No, we want to send them somewhere else. Now, this plugin has a lot of options for where you want to send them. If you have a Dropbox account, you can send them to Dropbox. If you would like to have the backup files emailed to you, you can send them to your email. Wouldn't recommend that because emails usually have some sort of size cap, and if your website is of any size at all, it's going to exceed that cap. If you have a Google Drive account, you can use that. If you want to do what we say not to do, you can go local storage only. That's what we mean by storing it in the same server as your website. What I would recommend is what the plugin recommends, which is to use the Backup Buddy Stash account. Now, Backup Buddy Stash is a service that will store your backup files for you, up to 1 GB worth for free, just by virtue of you purchasing the Backup Buddy plugin. So, because you're staring at the screen means you bought the plugin, right? Which means you have up to 1 GB of storage space. For most sites, that will be enough. For some sites, you might need more storage space. You always have the option to buy it. I would try and avoid spending any money if you need to, if you can. So for most people, that's not going to be necessary. I'm going to go ahead and get, we're using a password keeper at BFC Support called Team Password. I'm going to go ahead and get our Backup Buddy plugin, username and password, because you need to enter in the username and password to use the Stash service. By the way, we are going to have a future blog post about using a password keeper so that you don't have to use the same password for everything. But that's a different story. I know that our username is this, and I know our password is this. Now here's the other thing. So we've covered the save it offsite problem. Now we need to cover the scheduling problem. What we recommend is we use the active blogger setting. This means that it's going to take a complete backup once per week. And every day it'll take a database backup. That means it's only going to save all your files, your images, your videos, your theme files, all that kind of stuff once a week because those probably change less often. But your database, it's going to save every day, and that means edits to pages that you make, new blog posts that you write, things like that. Those are going to be saved every day. We're going to save these settings here. We are now good to go. It'll run those automatically. What I would generally recommend is the first time, just, we've set up the configs, but we haven't actually taken a backup. Just to make sure it works on your system, I would take a complete backup as well. So I'm going to send this to the remote destination called My Stash. And I'm going to click on here to run a complete backup. This will take 5 minutes or so I'm not going to bug you and make you watch this. But you should see something like this, and in 5 minutes it should be done. If you have any problems with this, obviously send us an email, tweet at us, send us a Facebook message, whatever. We'd be happy to help you out. If you're doing this, you have just solved a major mistake that a lot of people make. All right, bye-bye.